Hey everybody, I'm Cookie Brothers with FCF International. We believe no one should do ministry alone. I want to talk to you today about Ruth. Now, Naomi, the great-grandmother of David, which makes her in the lineage of Jesus, was a Moabite. Moab is the result of incest, so Jesus' lineage includes incest. So, as you can imagine, Moab's a pretty bad place. Now, the story is that Ruth's in-laws and their two sons moved to Moab due to famine in Judah, and the sons marry Moabite women, including Ruth, and the dad and the two sons die. So now Naomi, the mom, and the two daughters-in-law set off towards Bethlehem because they heard that the famine had ended. But on the way, Naomi tells the girls to return to their mom's houses, to just go home. And they cry and they say, no, we'll go with you. But Naomi says, but I can't help you. I'm just too old to have another child to be husbands to you. And even if I could, if I did, are then you going to wait around for them to grow up? No, you need to go home. So now the girls are crying again, but the one actually leaves. And the other one, Ruth, clings to Naomi. Naomi tries again to get her to go home, but Ruth says, no, where you go, I'll go. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Now, here's a powerful thought about the story of Ruth, what it points to in God's purposes. Jesus is this diamond that is center on all this dirt, and God, through his faithfulness, brought perfection into the world through such imperfection. Now, let me just explain all of this. Ruth, being a Moabite, is really someone who's not acceptable in the eyes of the Judean law. It would have been of great benefit for her to return to her mother's home, to what's known and what's familiar to her. But to go with her mother-in-law to Bethlehem, she would be a complete outcast, an outsider, a foreigner, frowned upon and viewed as less than. Now, they might accept that she's converted since she's, made her mother-in-law's God her God, but they would probably still not wholly accept her. But Ruth went against expectations and traditions. So now she goes to work in the fields, and she's working with men to harvest food for her and Naomi from the leftovers in the field after the most and the best have already been harvested. And so now Naomi says, you need to put yourself in the path of Boaz, the field owner, and he's a relative of Naomi, so that you can get his attention. Now, this isn't in a shameful way. Boaz has already noticed what a hard worker she is and how much she's done in the fields, but Naomi wants her to take a little extra step to be noticed. Let him see your interest, basically. So when they all go to sleep on the threshing floor that night, Ruth goes over and sweetly covers his feet with a blanket. And so now he gets it. Oh, she's interested in me. So, you need to understand in this day, women didn't take the initiative. So again, here's Ruth not doing what's expected of her or operating in their traditions. So eventually she and Boaz get married, and he is her kinsman redeemer. Now, if you don't know what that means historically, I would really suggest you take the time to go and look that up because it really is an important aspect. It's just not our focus right now. Now, there is so much complexity of this in this short book of Ruth, and I know that it's popular to look at it as just from the narrow perspective of a woman in the Bible, but there's so much more here. God's faithfulness to those who don't qualify is a part of that. Ruth represents the Gentile covenant partnership, and she rises to high value in the community by the elders. And then Naomi represents the Israelite covenant partner who's flawed, believing God's given up on her and experiencing famine, isolation, and barrenness and loss. only to be a grandmother and experience community again. Boaz, by embracing the role of kinsman redeemer, God rewards him and makes his lineage to include David and Jesus. So sometimes we need to lean hard into the faithfulness of God when we can't see the big picture and it feels, hopeless. We need to remember that God's grace is sufficient. We need to remember if we'll be faithful to him, he always shows himself strong.